Once upon a time, in a far-off land, lived a kind and gentle girl named Snow White. She was the most beautiful girl in the kingdom, with skin as white as snow, hair as black as ebony, and lips as red as cherries. Snow White lived with her loving and caring stepmother, the Queen. But the Queen was envious of Snow White's beauty and wished to be the fairest in the land. One day, the Queen called for a magic mirror to reveal who was the fairest in the kingdom. The mirror declared, "You, my Queen, are fair, but Snow White is fairer." The Queen was filled with rage and devised a wicked plan. She took Snow White into the dark forest, to a lonely and hidden cottage, intending to make Snow White die from hunger and cold. But the Queen was tricked by a kind and wise woodland creature, who led Snow White to the home of 7 little dwarfs. The dwarfs welcomed Snow White with open arms and gave her a warm place to stay. They lived deep in the forest, mining precious gems and treasures. Snow White helped the dwarfs with their work, and they became the best of friends. The dwarfs named Snow White Dreamer, because she brought them hope and happiness. They cared for her like a sister, and she loved them like family. But the Queen was not satisfied with Snow White's disappearance. She sent her huntsmen to find and kill Snow White. But the huntsman, moved by Snow White's kindness, could not bring himself to harm her. He told the Queen that a wolf had taken Snow White's life. The Queen was satisfied, but the dwarfs mourned for their lost friend. They built a beautiful tomb in the forest, and Snow White was laid to rest. But Snow White was not dead. The huntsman had left her in the forest, and she had awoken in a strange and unfamiliar place. She wandered through the forest, lost and alone, until she came upon the cottage of the 7 dwarfs. The dwarfs were overjoyed to see Snow White again, and they welcomed her back with open arms. They vowed to protect her from the wicked queen and her schemes. The queen, upon hearing that Snow White was still alive, became even more enraged. She went to the dwarf's cottage, intending to claim Snow White's life for herself. But the dwarfs were ready for her. They chased her away, and she fled into the dark forest, never to return. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs lived happily ever after, surrounded by love and friendship. And every night they would gather around the fire, telling stories of their adventures and dreaming of the bright future that awaited them. So, dear children, remember the tale of Snow White and the 7 dreamers. Let it remind you that kindness and friendship can overcome even the darkest of evils, and that love will always triumph in the end. And with that thought, I wish you a peaceful night, filled with dreams of love and happiness. Good night.